make the sauce. So we'll get a fair swig of oil in the pre-warmed pan. And we'll put in these chopped onions, soften them up a bit. I put plenty of garlic in, okay? 3 big cloves, and love garlic. So we just want to soften that a little bit more oil. So this is a fairly basic, very basic and very easy tomato sauce. Let that go for a minute. Now I've chopped up the tomatoes, put a little bit of tomato paste in there, about a teaspoon of salt. Mix all that up. Mix the paste into it. And this is going to cook for, anything up to 20 to 30 minutes, nice and slow, there's no rush, because this will cook whilst we're making the gnocchi. You can make any sauce you want. You can make a pesto sauce, make a really heavy ingredient sauce of chicken and so forth, or mushroom, but I love this. This is currently the family favourite. So we'll just soften those up a little bit. We've already added the salt and pepper into that. We'll just stir that around. And slow as slow can be. We'll come back to that in about 20. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the tomato base for the sauce is almost ready. It's nice and slushed up. We'll keep that going. It can go for a long time, but it is ready to mince up. So we'll just leave that there. In fact, I might even turn it off. Right, okay, to the gnocchi. Now, I've boiled the potatoes, about 1 kilo. We'll do 2 to 3 people. In the fridge, before I started cooking, I've put a bowl of cold water, which I need to be nearly frozen. That'll come about later. And now we're going to go about making the gnocchi. So, first thing, we need a board. You need a board. A good board is best. You can do it on a bench, you can do it on a table, you can do it on a mat, but a good board is best. First thing, plain flour. And it needs to be sieved. You can't just throw it on. It needs to be sieved. Don't get too far. There's our potatoes. Soft and warm. So once they've boiled, you either cool them down with cold water to warm, or let's let them sit for a while. Now what we're going to do. We don't mash. We do not mash the potatoes. See the masher? No masher. This is a gnocchi cutter, a potato cutter. The potato needs to be softly chopped. So we'll do this. Takes a while. Cut. Don't cut the video, Jude. The potato. As I said, we don't mash it. It's a fine line between mashing and chopping. You can use a fork, but I much prefer to use the traditional. Okay, now, I love putting pepper in my gnocchi. Lots of pepper, ground pepper, bang. Maldon sea salt, a good half a teaspoon. Yeah, a bit more, enough salt. Put those up there. Okay, now, we just mix that in. Don't be too delicate, I'm not going to bite you. And then we put 1 egg. So we've got a kilo of potatoes, and we're using 1 egg. If you were to use 2 kilo, which probably wouldn't be, you'd put 2 eggs in there. So we just mix that around, break up the yolk, make a little bowl, and mix it all in. So now we bring in the egg in, we're just folding it in. Don't have to be too aggressive with it. And every now and then you might find a little potato bump. Just squeeze those. One that might not have mashed up very well. Sorry, chopped up very well. Okay, so now we're ready to add the plain flour. You'll need about 300 grams of the flour. And we just start sprinkling this on like so. Do it in batches, don't do it all in one hit. Roll it in. Now what you don't want to do is too many folds, like you don't want to do that sort of thing. You'll find out why later. So, get sticky. We keep doing this until the mixture becomes not so sticky, meaning you can pick it up without it sticking to your hand. And just keep rolling it, but try not to fold it. Man, it's really sticky. Yeah. Don't hold back on the flour. Some will tell you if you put too much flour in, you taste the flour in the gnocchi. I've never tasted the flour in the gnocchi. No, we'll use all this flour, maybe a little bit more. Go back a bit. Now I know normally I'll use pretty much this of about 300 grams of flour. Don't. If it's still sticky, put it in. Still sticky. Getting close though. You see that I'm starting to form a little bit of a roll with it. Too close to you.
Oh, don't trust me.
You can see now that it's a little bit sticky on my fingers. I'll clean it up in a minute. We're nearly there. Flatten it out again. Okay, most important. Okay, now you can see the board has got a lot of rubbish on it. We've made our base ready to go. Just going to use a knife, or you can use a blade of any description, and just scrape the board off, because all that sticky stuff, we don't want that involved. Okay. Good knife. Okay, now I'll put a little bit more flour into my sieve. We need the flour on the board to stop it sticking. All right, so we're just going to roll that through there like that. So that's our gnocchi base. So what we're going to do now is chop it into sections, ready to roll. And maybe occasionally put a little bit more flour in there. Like that. Okay, pick one. Here we go. We'll do a simple one first. So all you need to do, this is so easy. Just roll it out. It gets longer as you roll. Now you can choose the size of your gnocchi you want. You can have a big chunky gnocchi or a small delicate one. I like the sort of something in between, about that size. So what you need is consistency in what you're doing. You do one at a time normally. So we'll come back to that. Now, you can use any knife to chop. When you roll it, if you feel a lump from a big chunk of potato, just chop it out, doesn't matter. Cut the end off. This can be done. There's no rocket science to this. Little tails, chuck them out. And here we go. Pan out, Jude. Okay. Now, it'll take forever. There you go. Now, there's my gnocchi. That's how I make a gnocchi. Some people like to put a fork marks in it or squish it and do different things and make it look stupid. But seriously, I like the rustic look. And I put them over here, pan out, on a greaseless paper, baking paper. So where does it stick? Now, they can become a little bit sticky on the ends. There's my little gnocchi, the little baby. And this part can take quite a while. Come right here. Pan out. Film me here. Don't worry about that. Okay, here we go. To my mind, now some people will go and they like that. Oh, no, not me. You can do it any way you want. Until it's not sticking anymore, it's not sticking to me. If it was starting to stick, I'd just roll a little bit of flour into it. So that's out of one roll. So that's taking me about 2 minutes just to do those there. We'll do one more. You ready, Jude?
Yep.
Right. Right, you're not strong. It'll you can go as soft as you like. Nice and chop the end off. I'm using quite a sharp knife here. You don't need to use a super sharp knife. You can use a bread and butter knife if you want. Okay, you got the idea. So when we come back, we'll be ready to just cook the gnocchi. Okay? Done. We're done. Gnocchi, ready to cook. So, we'll put that down. Gnocchi. We'll go over here now. When I first started the process of peeling potatoes, I put a bowl of cold water in the freezer to let it get really cold. This is so when we've cooked the gnocchi, we put it in to stop it cooking. Right? See, frozen. Nice. We'll just put that there. Okay. Now, we've got our boiling water, which I've had going since I started gnocchi, in a big pot. Okay. We won't need that again. We've also got a look at that lovely tomato base. Smells lovely. In fact, whilst that's there, put a bit of basil into it. Let that soak into a little bit. We're going to mash that up soon. That is looking great. Okay, now we batch cook. We don't put all this in at once. The idea is it takes about a minute. It'll sink to the bottom of the boiling water. And when it rises, I normally give it about 10 seconds and then I'll put it in the cold water. So we'll have a go at this. Here we go. So you want to batch cook. You don't want to lose it all in one go. We want the water swirling around so it keeps its shape. Here we go. Whoa. Bit too much, that's good. So we're going to let it swirl around. Keep it up high, see, look down onto it. Keep the water moving. And we'll just leave that for a sec. Keep it up, Chief. Now, sometimes I'll put the lid back on I put a little bit too much in there. Just to get it boiling again. It takes a couple of minutes. Now, while we're waiting, the potatoes to use, it really doesn't matter. I tend to like Desiree, the little red ones, but it doesn't matter. I get the same result out of white ones. So these ones are the little pink ones. Remember, this was just under a kilo of potato after peeled, and it's made enough to easily feed 2 people. Easily. All right. Give it a bit of a stir to give it a bit of love, get it going. Meanwhile, Mr. Tomato is going beautifully. See the basil coming into it, infuse a little bit of basil flavour. I'm going to turn that off now. We'll keep cooking away. All right, they're starting to lift in the water. Bring the camera over. You see, I've got my nice rustic look. Just keep it steady, Jude. Just starting to lift. Like I said, that took about, 2 minutes, a little bit longer. And some people will take them straight out. I give them a little 10 to 20 seconds longer. Keep it up. And with a big spoon, careful, chuck them in the cold water. You can see some of these are split. That's because I put mistakenly, a little bit of nervousness being filmed, I think. Put a little bit of a fold in it in one roll, and it caused some of them to split a little bit. That's okay. Tastes the same. I love the character of these. Some people will spend days and not days, but a long time preparing each one with a fork or. Oh, it's just crazy. I love this sort of. And the last one, there he is. Look at that little bugger. In the cold water. Now they stop cooking. All right, get the water boiling again. It's nearly there. Whilst that's going, we'll scoop these into the drainer. You want them dry. Okay, the water's going again. Put the rest in. These won't take as long because there's only a few of them. Woo! Got that, Jude? Put them in, little buggers, if they go on their way. Give them a big roll. Get it moving. Break them up if they're stuck together. Stop the water a little bit and move it around. Right, that's done. Woo! Get the rest of these little preciouses out. Yeah, I did say precious. Oh, they're going to taste so good. Okay, that gnocchi now you could eat. Want to try one, Jude?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. Now this frozen water is no longer frozen, but it's still cold enough to slow them down. These ones will be up in a sec. And we'll cut, Jude. Cut. Okay, peeps, here we are. Gnocchi, it's cooked. You can eat it now, but of course you want to add to it. So what's really cool, you chuck it in the fry pan and let it warm up again with oil and a bit of salt, and that alone with a bit of basil or anything you want can taste amazing. Just walk away with that. If you're going to add it to a dish, which we are here, we'll chuck it in here. Keep it moving. Bit of salt. If you don't keep it moving, it'll stick. It'll stick to the pan. You don't want it to stick. It'll wreck it. So, probably got enough oil on it now to go hard. So we'll let that rest. No, we won't. It's not quite ready. Every now and then, give it a shake. We'll cook this for, I don't know, as long as you want, really. Sometimes, if you want to put it on the grill or even and get it a little bit brown with a bit of butter, a bit of salt, a bit of thyme, anything.
That's all good. What was good?
Yeah, sticking again. So, don't not move it. Even a non-stick pan, it'll want to stick to it. Whoop. What's that?
Yeah, I'll get that back.
No, I got it. Bit of love going in there. A bit more salt. Bang. Now, we're going to put in the sauce. We'll just take that off the heat for a bit. Step over here, Jude. Now, here's our lovely sauce. Give it a little bit of a mash up. Careful, a little splash.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna come around. That's way better.
It's a chunky garlic in there. Yummo. Probably won't use all this sauce. It'll be good for breakfast in the morning. So, around here, Jude. That'll do. I'll put it back in the heat. It doesn't need heat. It doesn't need the heat. Nice to keep it warm. That is sensational. Woo! That. I might have gone a little bit heavy on the sauce. That won't matter. All right. Ready for serving, Jude?
Mm-hmm.
Cut. A little bit of parmesan. A little bit of pepper. A little bit more pepper. Okay, back. Peeps, there we have it. Look at this. Get in there close, Jude. Unbelievable. There you go, folks. Gnocchi, El Scotto. Thank you, Jude, cameraman, first effort. See ya.